All right, Viking fans, we're in our bye week. We're making roster moves. We have a spot open on the 53. Let's talk about what could possibly happen next in 3, 2, 1. Gather around, Skull brothers and sisters. This is Skull World, brought to you by Minnesota Sports Talk. I'm your host, Dave. You can follow me on Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook at Skull World. Make sure you hit subscribe, like, and leave a comment below. I want to hear what you got to think about the potential moves we could possibly make. I'll get the ball rolling with two guys, and I'll tell you whether or not I think they will or will not, and what percentage chance they would be on our team. This is the time of the year before the trade deadline, our bye week, getting guys ready, getting them used to the offense or getting used to the defense. After 6 games, where are we at on the offensive line or offensive side of the ball? Where are we at on the defensive side of the ball? Who needs the most help? We got some things to talk about. Now, personally, I think the defense probably is fine talent-wise. Roster talent-wise, probably fine. It's just Donatell. His scheme is, not iffy, but it's not less to be desired. It's just not what we want. It worked out like it was supposed to against Miami. They had 14 drives. They're going to give up yardage, but we didn't give up points. So there's a lot of testament to the Vikings keeping these guys out of the end zone, and they cause the turnovers. It's to push everybody to the middle. Hopefully our safeties play center field. What do you know? Smith gets an interception, and then Peterson gets an interception. We force a fumble again by Smith. We cause the turnovers that he wants, that Donatell wants his defense to make, and keep them out of the end zone. And that's what happened. That's why they only scored 16 points, because we caused 3 turnovers. Now, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about this guy. There was a lot of talk about Ndamukong Suh coming to the Vikings. I think he would have been a Viking if he would take less money. I think the Vikings only wanted to give him a veteran minimum, maybe with incentives. He was holding out for like $8 million. He's not getting that. I don't think he's going to get that anywhere, and especially now that the season's half over, a third over. Is he going to get that? I don't think so. And the contracts are now not guaranteed, so it's a little safer option. Where he would fit with the Vikings right now is a rotational player, bringing us depth for the playoff run. This would help the Minnesota Vikings. Sheldon Richardson would help the Minnesota Vikings. Now, but let's just talk about Ndamukong Suh. He had last year playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I got him in the Rams jersey. Sorry about that. I had a whole lot of pictures of him in Buccaneers outfits. Anyways, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He had 26 total tackles. That was his last year, 6 sacks. So, and that was in 17 games. The year before, in 16 games, he had 44 total tackles, still had 6 sacks. So, he's still productive. He still had 6 sacks, and those were the most sacks he had in since 2016 in Miami. He had 6 and 5. Now, this guy was a Pro Bowler, man. He has a lot of talent. He stays healthy. He's one of those guys that just really strict with his diet. This guy cares about his body. At age 35, I feel like there's no problem with this guy coming in and helping out. I do. I think he'll be fine. I think Harrison Phillips cannot play the entire game, at nose tackle. I think he'd be fine playing DN for us in a 3-4. I think that'd be great. Just imagine the size of our defensive line with an Ndamukong Suh, the strength, the agility. Even at 35 years old, this guy would easily be able to contribute with the Minnesota Vikings. Now, what do I think would happen? I think he wants too much money. I think he's made his money, and the only thing would, bring him back would be a payday or a championship. Now, he's probably holding out for one or the other. Now, since he has a championship, I'm not sure he needs one, right? I think if he does, he's going to want to go to like a super contender, like who knows, maybe a Buffalo. But we're 5-1. New York, all these teams are 5-1, that he could go to any one of these teams and contribute. So he's just got to pick his poison. You may want to take an NFC team, because if you pick the right NFC team, it's the easiest way to the Super Bowl, I think, because of the top end teams. There's it's getting into the playoffs in the AFC is a lot tougher. We only got 4 teams that are above 500 right now in the NFC, so him picking an NFC team would make sense. But I'm gonna give this, 20% chance, 25. Give it 25 and not 0, because we did have talks with him. We do want him, and it's just the money and whether or not he's willing to play for less. Now, the other guy that everybody's talking about is Odell Beckham Jr., who showed out in the Super Bowl until he got hurt. Showed out. Now, he went ACL injury. He's not expected to be a full go until like November. We do have 2 weeks off, or we do have this bye week, so we got 2 weeks. We may miss 2 more games and then start November. We'll get him November and December in the playoffs. Right now, the reason why this would make sense is that we do not have a matchup issue. We don't have a guy that can, to dominate out there on the field, who we have cause a matchup problem for the defense. Odell Beckham Jr. is a matchup issue for a lot of cornerbacks out there. Justin Jefferson's only 6 foot. Thielen's taller than him by an inch. So that being said, this is a guy that can, we can get him the ball in traffic. He can go up and get it. He, catch him with one hand. I'm not saying Thielen can't, Justin Jefferson can't. It's just Odell Beckham Jr. could do it better in a tight situation, nobody open. Think about the 3 throws to Thielen. Say that 3 times fast. The 3 throws to Thielen where the ball went incomplete. He did get the PI. But what if that was Odell Beckham Jr. with the size difference? Would he been able to make that play? That's what I'm looking at. He is only 29. He's came back from injury before. He's an athlete. He causes matchup issues. He would make sense for this offense. I believe we have room for him in the offense. I don't think Rager's going to break out anytime soon. KJ Osborne hasn't been, a breakout player. Our offense has struggled, a little bit. It's not been consistent. I think an added weapon, like an Odell Beckham Jr., especially in the red zone, and he could, again, matchup issues. Just get this guy on the outside. Throw a back shoulder. Throw it up for grabs. This guy can come down with it. It would make sense to get a guy like this. Is he looking at us? He's looking to play somewhere. He's putting out cryptic messages, but nobody's putting us out there except for some Vikings writers. But what are the chances, Dave? You might ask, Dave, what are the chances that Odell Beckham Jr. comes here? Well, I say there's like 5 teams that were mentioned. We're not one of them. So I'm going to have to say 10% chance. Would it make sense? Yes, it would make sense to bring a guy like this, take a chance on him. I think he wants to play. He likes to play football, man. He wants to play football. I don't think money would be a huge issue. I think it gives him an early chance to play for a contract this year for next year. So if he comes back, bets on himself for a veteran minimum, which we would be able to do, He would use that as leverage. You make a playoff run with him. You use that as leverage to get a bigger contract next year. I think it makes sense. And a team like the Rams have just played themselves out of a contention for this. He's not going to go back to the Giants most likely. So what, maybe the Cowboys, maybe the Chiefs. Would he go to the Packers? I don't think so. I don't think that's what they want to do there. They got rid of their best receiver, for contract issues. Maybe they do. Maybe Rodgers talks him into getting an Odell Beckham Jr. But hey, the Vikings are in the driver's seat. They got a good as chance of anybody going to the NFC title game. The Eagles are loaded. I don't think they're gonna worry about getting this guy. But hey, they might have a shot too. Anyways, the Vikings just got as good a shot as anybody of getting players like this. We'll talk more maybe trade opportunities, but hey, Odell Beckham Jr., Ndamukong Suh would make sense for a team like us. I give Odell Beckham a 10% chance. I give Ndamukong Suh a 25% chance of being on our team. And crazier things have happened, man. Who thought we would have signed the biggest free agent in Kirk Cousins that year? Who thought Brett Favre? I didn't. Crazier things have happened. Let's skull. That's it for today. Reckless speculation about, who's going to be on our team. I guess I stole that from Purple Daily. I'm quoting Purple Daily. Reckless speculation on these two guys. Tell me what you think in the comments. That's it for today. Skull Vikings. Cue the music. Thank you, Viking fans, for listening. Make sure you catch my other episodes. Also, make sure you subscribe, like, and leave a comment below. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Skull Vikes.